Hi, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be reassembling the trailer. I got the master cylinder over there on the bench. I'm going to put that in first, and then I'm going to plumb all the brake lines up, and then we're going to put the axle on and maybe even the deck. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so it's been a week since that last clip. I stripped out 3 of the U-bolts for the trailer. They were just super old and rusted, and it's taken me a long time to find a place that actually sells the exact size, because this is a really old trailer. Apparently it's from the 70s and early 80s, so it has a very strange U-bolt and axle and leaf spring setup, but I did find it. I got 4 new ones. And so now, as you can see, the axle is installed. I did that in the time being of not being able to put everything together, but I finally have the U-bolts, so we're gonna get that done. There it is. I still have to do the brake bleeding and insert the ram section into there and the deck, but everything else is finished. It's looking great. All right, so it's time to bleed the brakes. I just took off the wheels and propped up the trailer again on the jacks. The bleed nipple is like all the way like right here in the most inconvenient spot, so it's gonna be hard for me to film in like a close-up, but I'm gonna do my best. I'll probably film from over here. This is where the master cylinder is, or whatever. If I can get it open. There you go. So there's the fill for the master. So I'm gonna pour the brake fluid in there. My plan is to gravity bleed it to one side at a time, and see where see how much pressure we have, if it's enough, and then I'll have someone help me bleed it the other way, building pressure inside the master cylinder and then releasing the bleed nipple. That method, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, But if the gravity bleeding doesn't work, then that's going to be what needs to happen. So hopefully we have brakes at the end of this video. Yeah. Alright, so I got the ram installed with those 3 bolts. Inside there are 3 roller sleeves that are all greased up, and it was very difficult to reline those up again. And inside there, you can't really see, there's like a bar that pushes on the master cylinder pin, because this thing slides back and forth like that when you're stopping with the truck, and then it pushes the brake fluid back to the brakes. So that's all greased up, ready to go. I just have to finish installing the safety or the safety puller thing if the trailer gets disconnected and it pulls the pin and stops the trailer. And then I got to install this little cap right here, and this plate that goes right here, that's on the floor right there. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then it'll be done. It's all put together. This thing's crooked, I just noticed that. I don't know why that's crooked like that. But yeah, it's all assembled. Everything's put together. This is the fluid cap or the brake reservoir cap. And then the chains are on, the ram section's on. This thing works as it should. This thing pushes back. It's kind of hard to do it by hand, but once the truck's on there and it's stopping, that's enough pressure to push the master cylinder pin and apply pressure to the brakes. So that's pretty much finished. So we got the wiring done, the brakes done, painting, everything. The only thing left is to do the deck. So that's what's happening next. All right, so it's finally time to put on the deck, do the finishing touches on this trailer. I have it, all the wood right here for the deck. I backed up my truck really close so I could just make the cut and put the 2x6 on there. I think so I need to rip one of the boards down, and I'm thinking that I'm gonna do it the rip board on this side, that way it's like pretty hidden. That's the goal, to make it look as nice as possible. So I think if the rip side is right in this crevice on this side like that, it'll be the best looking. And then this side right here, which is probably going to be the most visible, will be a nice routed edge. Installed. Change of plans. I think that a 2x4 will fit in there perfect. That's about 4 inches gap right there. That one is a little bit narrower. That will definitely be perfect to spread the gap out between all the boards. But I think on this side I'll have to rip down this 2x6 down the maybe like ½ inch down the length of it, just to give a good gap across all the boards, so when it expands and contracts and all that, it doesn't start breaking everything, all the other wood. So I just need to rip down that 2x6 and install the 2x4s, and then all the wood's down, and then I need to do this clamp. What I'm gonna bolt down from there to there, a strap kind of with that right there, and it's gonna do one bolt right there and then one bolt right there, and then it'll be a strap across each section of the back of here, and then in the front it's tied down, or not tied, but like sitting in this little channel that's there like that. So I'm gonna cut these 2x4s and rip the 2x6, and then all the wood will be installed. a full deck, all pressure treated 2x6s and 2x4s. It's looking good. So we have really good gap along all the boards. A little bit of gap right there. It's about, I'd say like a 1/4 inch maybe on each side. A little bit less and a little bit more on some boards. But it's all there and it's ready to go. Cut the strap that I'm putting right here and bolt that down. And then it's done. All right, so it just started raining, so I'm not gonna be able to do that strap tonight, but I will be here in the morning and I will get that finished. I'll get the wheels on, I'll get the cotter pins in the castle nuts on the wheels, and then we'll take it for a drive. So that's it. All right, I'm starting on the strap. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it at the length of each section of deck, divided by that center column. And I'm gonna drill a hole in the center of each of the end 2x6s so that it clamps the two pieces that are the highest down. And then yeah, so I got 4-inch carriage bolts that are 1/2 inch, and I think that should be a little overkill actually, because all it's doing is just holding the wood down. It doesn't need to like secure it really, it just needs to hold it all down. But when there's like a car or something on it, it'll be fine. So I'm gonna cut it and drill it and get it installed. All right, so I'm gonna mark out the center of these 2x6s onto these, and this I'm gonna put a carriage bolt right here and right here. Before I painted it, I welded this thing right here, just a square stock of steel all the way under. So I'm gonna run the bolt through this and then through that, and with the carriage bolt. So I'm gonna mark the center, and then I'm going to drill a hole and Dremel out the thing for the square on the carriage bolt. And then it should be ready to go. So just going to mark the center right there. Center right there. Center. All right, so that's where my holes are going to go. And then we're going to get the carriage bolts installed. right, so there's the first strap fully in. Actually, I didn't bolt it. I still want to paint it, but it is there. The carriage bolts went through, and I'll impact them on from the bottom. I got nylock nuts right there, and so now it's time to do the other one, and then get these cleaned up and painted. Both the straps done. So now I'm gonna paint them red, and they'll match the rest of the trailer, and then it'll be done. I'm just gonna brush this on since I ran out of the red spray paint, and we're on quarantine, so there's a huge line at the store to even get spray paint. So I'm just gonna paint this on. Hopefully it's it dries smooth, I guess. So I'm gonna paint this. All right, so it's the next day. These took forever to dry. I do not recommend using the Rust-Oleum oil-based paint and then painting it on without a hardener or out of a spray gun or whatever. It took hours and hours to dry, so I just left it overnight. It is hard now, or as hard as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna bolt these on and it'll be finished.
Checking lights. Yes. All the running lights are on. Backup lights. Yep.
All right, it's all done. I got some straps on there. I did tow a sit-down lawnmower, and it tows fantastic. All the lights are working, and it dries really smooth. All the tires are, I got them balanced, and they're doing nice. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.